Okay, well, hello everyone, and welcome to Concordia University's fourth space. Thank you for joining us for today's event, Community Building, a co-design workshop, which is part of Catalyst 2024 Master of Design Research Creation Symposium. To help situate you, we are streaming to YouTube Live from fourth space, which is located on unceded Indigenous lands in Tiohtià:ke, Montreal. Here at Fourth Space, we work with our university community to mobilize knowledge by co-creating daily activities to examine research questions and projects in development here at the university. We are running this event as a live stream meeting, so we welcome comments and questions with a raised hand or via the chat if you're joining by Zoom. For those of you in the space, if you'd like to participate, just let us know by raising a hand and we'll be sure to get a microphone to you. With that, it is now my pleasure to hand it over to Master of Design candidate, Shadi Roozi. Over to you.
Hello, and thank you all for coming for the workshop. I'm going to have a brief explanation about my project, which was about height changes, elevational changes in cities. Actually, we have elevational changes because we have topographies, and mostly designers try to solve this type of issues in cities by designing stairs, as we know. And I know that stairs was problematic because my mom had arthritis for many years, and stairs were toxic for her because she cannot bend her knees as much as it should bend to go up or down. So that's painful for her to use the stairs, and you know, 1 out of 5 adults in North America actually have received arthritis. So that's a very important issue to consider as a designer. And the project actually the whole project is a hint for designers to see how people actually interact with their design, how when they decided to solve height changes in cities and using stairs for that, how actually people interact with those situations. And when I observe around myself, I realized, for example, here I took this picture last year. As you can see, there are 2 options to go to that building, and 1 stairs and 1 ramp. And people, as Youngell actually mentioned in his book, people prefer to use other alternative than stairs, here as the footprint actually shows. So I conducted lots of observation around the city because Montreal is a famous city for its iconic staircases. So I went through many locations, and they were mostly built many years ago, but this project that I decided to do my observation was actually a very new built place. So that was problematic, and I found elderly like my mom in that location that actually struggle with stairs. As you can see here, because they have slower speed than others, so that caused separation between the group that they belong, and so they actually they suffer from using stairs, as you can see in these videos. And the other groups that I actually saw in that location was people on wheelchair. They have actually no option but taking more inclusive options like elevators. But on the other side, next to the coast, in this site, there was no option but the stairs. Besides elderlies and people on wheelchair, we found other categories of people that actually have problem with the stairs. For example, parents with the strollers and baby carriages. So they have to take it up. They have to be really careful. And again, the speed was slower than others. And here, for example, the father had to lift the baby in front of the building, so that was dangerous. And also cyclists, they had problem as well. And sometimes they need some helps. So these are actually people that I define as a targeted people in my project. And the problem was lack of ramp and other alternative that would be more inclusive for using them, and lack of signage, because there was elevator inside the building, but people didn't notice that because there was no signage for that. So I thought that maybe if we had ramp in that location, that could solve many problems. There was no concern about the signage because the ramp itself could be the solution. So I went to the ring landscape where we have ramp inside the combination of ramp and stairs. So I found my targeted group using the ramp, and I was so satisfied. So as you can see, elderlies actually use the ramp. Here. Although they had slower speed, but they were okay. And also parents with baby carriages using the ramp. Cyclists. People with other, wheeled objects. And also people who have to carry something heavy, like carry-ons or containers. So was that ideal? No, because some people didn't notice that. So the problem was the ramp itself was so hidden inside the stairs. So for example, here, the lady actually left the bike in front of the sides. So when she came back, she took pictures of the ramp. And here, he actually wasn't sure that the ramp goes up to the end. So that caused confusion. So all in all, based on the observation, we realized that what people with mobility issue might need. The most important thing was the ramp and avoid any type of stairs. They need to have different materials to distinguish different functions. For example, they should know there is a ramp for them, so we can use different materials or signage to clarify that. They need some chairs and benches to stop and rest because they mostly in pain when they wanted to walk in long distances. And they need attractions and having some interesting paths, because sometimes we put, for example, a ramp on the other side, hidden somewhere that nobody can see it. So we put them as a second users, not as first user, and we should consider them as a primary users with most attractive paths. So for this problem, we propose an inclusive navigating system in Google Maps for them. We wanted to add actually a feature for people with mobility issue, and we use the icon that could be generally for people with mobility issue, but in an active way, because they wanted to be independent and active in society. And instead of having passive icons, we propose that. Already there are some algorithm in Google Maps for defining passes and streets that could allocate for people who wanted to walk or use bicycle. So we can use that and also add some other filters when they wanted to use that feature. For example, we wanted to use bus over metros because metro stations are full of stairs, and shortest routes should be on top. When we wanted to suggest them routes, breaks and stop could be suggested in their pass, and the pass could have some attractions and interesting spots to stop and rest. And we enhance visual navigation through camera because some people might feel lost, or the signage in the street might not be enough, and they might not actually find their way. So that's why they can open the camera and see the navigation system that we provide for them, and the signage would help them to find their ways. So, and the most important thing that we wanted to filter is the stairs in Montreal as a case study. We wanted to actually filter stairs because already we know there are many stairs. For example, in Olympic Stadium landscape, you have to take stairs from Sherbrooke to go down to the landscape, and also the other locations that I already talked about. So what I'm gonna do, and I wanted to ask you to participate in this workshop, is that if you have any kind of problems like this in Montreal, I wanted to ask you to come here and pin the map here and suggest us to have a more accurate application. So yeah, that's the whole point. Thank you. Yes. Do you have any idea about it? Because I already pinned some locations. If you can come here, and if you struggle with any locations in Montreal, I would be happy to have that in the map. If you can pin actually some locations that you know they use ramp in a good way, so you can pin with the blue ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where the stairs are, or there's like dead stairs, like stairs that I put myself on. The winter, like in the wood.
Oh,
You
the
know,
material.
the small ramp to go down. All those things. I'm not sure. I had to. I mean, I still can move. I can move my leg.
Yeah.
But for her, just they can't. Right? So I had to take my leg and then try to.
Oh yeah.
Because there was no room to cross my leg.
There's a small steps in the sidewalk in the
No, it's still like a normal sidewalk with no room to.
Yeah.
You know when you get to the end of the sidewalk, right?
Yeah,
There's a small
exactly.
ramp
Exactly, I
to
know.
take to go to the next.
Do you know where that is exactly?
I'm not sure, but I do go. I will. You know what? I'll make a note.
And then when it's like 11.
Thank you for joining us for this event. We will be going ahead closing up the Zoom and the live stream, but a quick reminder that this conversation, this workshop is already available on our YouTube channel if you'd like to revisit or share it. Please join us once again at noon where we will have our next conversation as part of MDES.